Hello there, welcome back to another review. Today I thought I'd mix things up a bit and do a bit of anime as well. So I'm going to be looking at the 1988 OVA Appleseed, based on the manga of the same name. Obviously done by Masamune Shirow, most famously for doing Ghost in the Shell. I myself personally have never read the manga. I think it was published, was it between 86, 89, around that time? Or 85 maybe, I think 85, 89. But I know a lot of fans were not happy with this animation. I know a lot of the hardcore fans of Appleseed, because I say I've only seen, this is me just coming from, like I say, an outsider's point of view. I had no record of the manga going into this. I had no record of sort of the source material, so I was just watching this as a movie itself. And obviously after doing a bit of research, finding out that a lot of the fans, the hardcore fans of Appleseed, were not very too happy with this one. And it departs quite a bit apparently from the source material, so we'll just give you my review of the film today and as I see it through my eyes. As I say, Masamune Shirow, most famously for doing Ghost in the Shell, but yeah, we'll be getting into this today, seeing what I thought about it. So the film starts with a suicide, which, you know, always okay, that's how you're opening a film. I mean, you look at something like Lethal Weapon 1, you know, that's how the film starts, with a suicide. So the film starts with suicide, and this girl Freya, she jumps out of a window wanting to go back to the real world. Then this wall of text comes up. Explaining the whole situation, what's going on. There's no music, it's basically just this whole wall of text. That's it, just to give you an update on the story. Basically, after World War III, they created a new city called Olympus, in which developed half humans, half robots called biodroids. The city was meant to represent all mankind's hopes and dreams, but at the same time comes, like, with that, obviously a lack of freedom. They made out this city was going to be something wonderful. There's no need to, there's no unemployment. Everything's perfect. Nobody has to sort of strive to get anything. Nobody has to work hard to get anything. Everything is just there right in front of them. Where people have everything, there's just, like I say, there's no struggle, there's no fight to exist. And obviously this girl Freya, she kills herself because she just thinks this isn't living, this isn't, you know, this is no good, this is not life to me, this is not how life should be. Then we cut to this hostage situation. It's here we're introduced to our two main leads in the anime, where we encounter, like I say, there's Dunan and there's Bulieros. I mean, I think it's a mistranslation. I did read somewhere that's not how in here he's called Bulieros, but I don't think, again, if any of you out there know Appleseed a lot more than me, I don't think that is what his name is in the comic, in the manga. One of the hostages escapes. One of the terrorists escapes, AJ Sebastian. There's, like I say, a hostage situation. One of the terrorists escapes, and he's called AJ Sebastian, who is basically being aided by Karen, who is the husband of the woman, Freya, at the start, who killed herself. And Karen's been sort of giving him arms, weapons, helping him out with his cause, so he basically can attack Gaia. Gaia being like sort of the central computer in like Olympus, and the HQ of the biodroids. As they don't want them, basically the whole idea is they don't want to be dictated, they don't want to live in this sort of dystopia anymore, they want to make a stand. And there's this woman in it called Hitomi, who brings people back from the outside world into Olympus. She gets kidnapped at the end in order to help Karen shut down the system. She's like a biodroid who's like, she's sort of key to the shutdown like process. And while AJ Sebastian, he goes after this sort of new high-tech weapon they've got called the multi-peed cannon. And with the system shut down, the new weapon tech, their plan is basically, as I say, to destroy Olympus. And that's basically just an overall idea of the plot. It's basically this guy, his wife died, this terrorist, he's not happy with the way things are, they team up. You know, I'll give you this if you give me that, and we can basically destroy Olympus, and, you know, the whole city will crumble. I do love the mech and armor designs in this. I think the mech and armor designs are quite cool. Obviously Masamune Shirow's design, and I'd say just over an hour long the film. It's only about 70 minutes long. It's really not overly a long film. As I say, it's an OVA, so you can't look at it really as a quote-unquote film as such. I don't think it's that bad, but as I say, I'm approaching this for somebody that doesn't know Appleseed that well. I just remember buying this ages and ages and ages and ages ago, and for one thing, I just like the artwork on the front, and I just remember I picked it up one day, and I liked it at the time. I've watched it again recently before I've just done this review, and it's alright, you know, it's okay. It's not terrible. It's not brilliant by any means, but I think it's terrible in a lot of people's eyes if you compare it to sort of the source material and what it's based on. If anything, the plot is simple though. I mean, that is one criticism I have. The plot is really simple. It took me like about a couple of minutes there to explain it, but it's not. The plot is quite straightforward. Just with no prior knowledge of, say, the manga, maybe some of the references may have been lost on me. I mean, I know it was Hitomi who rescued Dunan and Blieros from outside, and she's like this half woman, half robot. And like I say, Blieros is like he's sort of like this big Biojordan. He's got like these rabbit sort of antennae on top of his head. There are some good quotes in this dubbed. I mean, I watched it dubbed, and there are some good funny quotes that really did stick out to me, and which I like, which did tickle me. They did actually make me sort of burst out laughing. And one of them being, I want to pump you so full of holes you'll be winning next year's Mr. Swiss Cheese contest. I thought that was quite good. And then Bolero says once they're doing it, he goes, well, he must be part cyborg. And she says, he's all bastard. I just thought that was quite cool. It just made me laugh. I just thought them sort of one-liners like that were quite funny. To me, it's never explained who Hitomi is. Going into this, as I say, I had no idea. They don't flesh out who Hitomi is. I mean, I know she's sort of a biodroid. She goes out and sort of rescues people, and she's key to sort of helping shut down Gaia. But it's never sort of explained who or why she's so important to me personally. I just didn't see what that. As far as I know, that wasn't explained in this. I didn't get it. I didn't understand the context in why she is so important. But as I say, it's never really made clear what makes her special. And sometimes the animation in certain areas and certain parts is a bit lacking. The animation sometimes can be a bit crude, dare I say. It can be not sort of up to what you sort of would expect. I think people just would expect for the first. I mean, on the back here, it's got like 4 stars. Intelligent enough to stand alongside the great dystopian science fiction movies from Empire. Even me going. I mean, I wouldn't say it's that great. But I think it's one of them films I think the fans just were expecting a lot more from Appleseed than what they got here. It seemed like production was a bit rushed. It seemed like they did cut a few corners, and like I've said in so many things as well, like when they have a source material and they have all this reference there, and sometimes people just why not just adapt one of the stories from the manga? Why not just adapt something that's already there anyway and just put that into animation format? I know sometimes they try and do something original. But I think where a lot of Appleseed, obviously such a beloved franchise from such a true wonderful truly amazing artist, that it's I think a lot of people just let down with this. I think they did feel it was a bit flat, but it's very much rooted in that sort of 80s sort of anime that we come to know, where sometimes it works and when it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. And the music as well throughout this is rather poppy. And it doesn't really suit exactly what's going on in the situation at the time. The music sometimes does seem a bit out of place. Regarding, like they say, the intensity of the situation, it doesn't really add to the dramatic effect of what is going on. But it's passable. I would say the music is passable. Whilst not the best anime in the world, at its length, it's fun enough to just put on for an hour or so. Like I say, it's just over about 60, 70 minutes long. And like I say, I know it's an over, but you can't really knock it sometimes when this film is that short, sort of in and out. You don't have to think too much. But I think where there's a lot of analogies in Appleseed, and there's a lot of, a lot of depth in the in the manga. That it's almost like this film just went for a stereotypical terrorists. Let's blow up the city. I'm going to help corrupt cop. Normal stuff, straight, just routine. I think that's what people felt let down with this one. And I think in a way, maybe it's one of them films that you probably do enjoy a lot more, like myself, if you didn't have any knowledge of the manga. I think and as well, you have to remember that this film, seeing it for the first time, people might have loved this and just thought that's inspired me to pick up the manga. That's maybe want to pick up the manga so they enjoyed this so much. But I think you will enjoy this a lot more if you do have nothing to base it on, if you have no sort of reference material to base it on. if you don't have any expectations of what to expect, it's very, like I say, it's very much a late 80s anime, and whilst not brilliant, seeing like, they did cut some corners here, there, and it was done quite quickly and maybe a bit of a cash grab. I still think it's okay. I still honestly think it works. I think it's not a bad film. It's definitely not terrible. But I think, like I say, the general consensus of Appleseed, the original, this 1988, it could have been done better. I think that's the only thing. And as mentioned, the story isn't that deep at all. It's not a deep story. Just have, like I say, a dystopian society and some renegades want to destroy it. That is basically your plot. And in contrast, what I believe, I think if you look at that like a generic story, and I think the contrast to that is in the manga, there's some very deep plots in there regarding sort of philosophy, sociology, politics, all these kind of things. And although they may hint at little subtleties of that in this film, they don't go anywhere sort of with it. And I just wish that obviously budget was a big part of this. Obviously budget did come into it, and I don't think they sort of had the time, money and resources to maybe just give the fans what they wanted. But regarding it as alone, like I say, just as a standalone film, I think it's okay. It's one of them things, if you can find cheap somewhere, pick it. I think I got it for when I bought it, God, it must have been 12-13 years ago. I mean, I got it for $3.99 somewhere, so you can probably get it cheap. I don't know what the prices for this DVD are now. I'm not even sure if it's been re-released on Blu-ray or something, but I think it's worth checking out. Definitely, if you don't have any prior knowledge of the manga, I think give it a try, and it'll just something to watch for 60-70 minutes. Just watch bit of cyberpunk, futuristic, dystopian action, and have fun with it. But thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this review of Appleseed, and I'll see you again soon.